Coming up on First at 4, folks throughout the region are experiencing issues with phone and internet service due to continuing problems with copper thefts. And the 2024 presidential race continues to heat up with the Democratic convention beginning next week.
And temperatures today were in the 70s and 80s, but the upper 80s will make a return. Find out when in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, Kinetic is asking for help in a copper cable theft investigation. Law enforcement in the region say copper thefts and the cutting of fiber optic cables has become nearly a weekly issue. WYMT's Caroline Mueller has the details.
This year alone, Clay County has seen more than 60 copper thefts. Kinetic is offering a reward of up to $10,000 for information which leads to an arrest. Officials with Kinetic say this is a problem with widespread impact, as it can cause outages which increase costs and delay first responders. It is possible this is affecting small businesses here in Perry County as well. Owner of the pantry shelf, Susan Brotherton, says she is experiencing signal and phone outages.
We were down last Friday. We were down, per se, 9 days in May. Probably have been down at least 3 times since then.
While it is difficult for Kinetic to know exactly how many customers have been affected, they estimate more than 350 residential and small businesses. If you have seen or heard anything related to these crimes, you're encouraged to report it to authorities. In Hazard, Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
Kinetic officials also encourage recycling centers to keep a close eye out, as the motive of these crimes is typically to steal the copper cable and make money by selling it to recycling centers.
Well, we're seeing a mixture of sun and clouds out there, and temperatures today not bad. We're in the 70s and 80s. You can see here in Hazard, the clouds, not bad. Just a little bit high, thin cirrus clouds out there, but that's really about it there. We're seeing plenty of sunshine. Temperatures right now, upper 70s towards Wise, low 80s towards Clintwood, as well as Grundy and Pikeville. We're at 84 in Hazard, as well as Jackson, 85 Irvin, 82 in London, 81 in Williamsburg, 81 in Monticello. Dew points right now in the 50s and 60s. It is comfortable out there, folks. Definitely get out and enjoy this evening. If you have any evening plans, not bad. Right now, all is quiet on live pinpoint Doppler radar. This will start getting a workout as we go into the afternoon and early evening hours of your Thursday, but not tonight. Definitely not tomorrow. We'll see temperatures in the low 80s by 7 o'clock, upper 70s by the 8 o'clock time frame, low 70s by 10 p.m. But as mentioned, the rain chances will make a comeback. Find out when in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. Former President Donald Trump's much anticipated conversation with Elon Musk on X, the site formerly known as Twitter, got off to a rocky start last night. It was delayed more than 40 minutes because of technical difficulties. Once it got underway, the Republican presidential nominee discussed a wide range of topics, including last month's assassination attempt. CBS's Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
He actually did something that was impossible.
In a 2-hour interview with Elon Musk on the social media platform X, former President Donald Trump recounted last month's attempt on his life and said he'd be back in that same Pennsylvania county in October to campaign.
What was it like for you?
Not pleasant. I didn't know I had that much blood. The doctors later told me that the ear is a place that is a very bloody place if you're going to get hit.
Musk, who also owns Tesla and SpaceX, reiterated he's backing Trump and said he wanted to reach independent voters.
You are the path to prosperity, and I think Kamala is the opposite.
With the race tightening, Trump stepped up his attacks on his Democratic rival, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Third-rate, phony candidate. She's incompetent. She hasn't done an interview since this whole scam started.
In response, the Harris campaign said in a statement that Trump's entire campaign is in service of people like Elon Musk and himself. Quote, self-obsessed rich guys who will sell out the middle class and who cannot run a live stream in the year 2024. Referencing the event's technical difficulties.
The Harris campaign says the vice president has been working on her economic agenda and will roll it out this Friday during a speech in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Campaign officials tell CBS News she will make tackling inflation a, quote, day one priority and will also take on corporate price gouging. Wednesday, former President Trump will also be speaking in the battleground state of North Carolina on the economy. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, CBS News has learned the FBI is investigating whether Iranian hackers targeted people associated with both the Trump and Biden-Harris campaigns. Sources say the agency launched the probe in the early summer after both teams experienced attempted phishing schemes targeting campaign officials. Well, a long list of high-profile Democrats are expected, if we can go back to the other video, a long list of Democrats are expected to have significant speaking roles at next week's Democratic National Convention. Delegates will hear from former President Barack Obama and former President Bill Clinton at the convention. President Biden is expected to kick off the DNC as the keynote speaker on the first night. According to sources, former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton will also speak on the first night. Now to J.D. Vance. Before his work in politics, the Republican vice presidential candidate was an investor in the now bankrupt indoor agriculture startup AppHarvest. Vance stepped down from the Kentucky company's board in 2021. Complaints filed with the U.S. Department of Labor allege employees were not given sufficient water breaks or provided adequate safety gear. A spokesperson for Vance says he did not know about operational decisions or workplace policies after he left. The Middle East could be on the brink of a regional war, and the tension is causing global consequences. Iran claims it has the right to go after Israel because that country killed a Hamas leader on its soil. Multiple sources say a full-scale attack could happen any day now. The U.S. military is poised to potentially intervene if that happens. On the other side, Iran has proxies in several Mideastern countries, but direct involvement is not the only way the conflict could affect Americans. It's already pushing up oil prices, as Amy Kiley reports.
Escalation remains a big concern.
Fears of a potential Mideast regional war are having global consequences. Israel is battling Hamas and has been exchanging rocket fire with Hezbollah in Lebanon. That group is an Iranian proxy.
We want to make sure that it doesn't create a situation where there is a direct conventional military conflict between Israel and Iran.
Such a conflict could bring in allies on both sides.
The United States then has a choice to make in terms of how it wants to try to respond very directly. Is it just to help defend Israel, or is it to go after those capabilities that the Iranians or their proxies might use to harm the United States?
Meanwhile, the tension is increasing oil prices, with U.S. crude jumping 4.2% yesterday and Brent crude gaining nearly 3% the same day. Traders worry a war could stop the flow of oil in the critical Strait of Hormuz.
Iran exports about 3.5 million barrels a day through the Straits of Hormuz. Israel, with our support, has the capacity to go after the Iranian Navy.
The State Department says it would prefer a more peaceful resolution.
We continue to believe a diplomatic resolution is both achievable and urgent, and we continue to be engaged in diplomatic talks.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Still to come on First at 4, how the population density of a city affects the temperature.
And speaking of temperature, we're going to be seeing highs in the upper 80s. Find out when in a few minutes. Stay with us.